kidding, or we don't.
Or call
We
the
don't
meeting.
care, yes.
Call the meeting to order from Porter East Law Commission, Wednesday, February 19th, 7 PM. All the commissioners are present except Commissioner Buckwald. Public comment. Anybody signed up to speak?
No.
Okay,
Moving on.
moving on, we'll go to approval of the agenda by consent. If nothing is heard, I will
I have
send.
nothing to change.
Anything to change?
Looks good to
Craig?
me.
Craig?
Looks good to me.
Good.
Okay. Approval of minutes by consent.
I have no changes.
Look good to me.
Hearing none, they're approved. Financials, I'll turn it over to Kelly.
Okay. Checks printed for January were $78,037.98. The occupancy for the campground is down 4%, and the mortgage is down 1% year-to-date.
Question on that, and I think we asked it last time. The revenue is not down 4%, the actual bodies in the campground is down 4%.
Correct.
Okay. Revenues, since we had a 10% increase last year, revenues year over year are up. And that, if you don't have that, Kelly, that's fine, I was just curious.
I have a previous year comparison. If you go to the very last page under tab 5,
Okay,
it has the previous year comparison as far as the campground revenue.
okay.
So
Okay.
Same time last year.
Profit loss, previous year comparison, okay.
Yeah, same time last year for campground revenue, we're up 32,000.
Very last one. Yeah, take a look. Everybody. Okay, so, okay, let's go over that again. So we're looking.
Look at
Campground
campground revenue.
Pop up. There you go. There,
4,100.
there you go, right there.
Really, that's it?
4140.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
4140.
Okay, let's, okay, so we're at 4140.
So revenue's up 9%.
Right. Okay, good. That's what I was, okay, so we're not hitting the law of diminishing returns where we've raised the rate so that we end up actually getting less revenue, or revenue's up. Excellent. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome. That's all I have.
Any questions for Kelly?
You know, I did notice that we're missing some rents, and I gotta believe it's probably that blue building, right?
Rent, yes,
Oh, yeah.
that is what it
Okay.
is.
That was the only question I had. It was pretty
Yeah, you're not-
self-explanatory, but I
48
thought,
of them.
make sure we're not missing something here.
And the storage, because the storages are coming down.
Right.
Okay. Next item on the agenda will be number 6, the Dahlbeck property in Mapleton, which David will take over.
We've discussed this in the past, and I've given you guys the two copies of the agreement that we had in place with the Dahlbecks. And after discussing this with the attorney, it seems like this was a conditional gift, and this donation by the Dahlbecks was made with the condition that the port would use this property for public purposes, specifically to drive pilings and put in a dock. Based on the documents that we have, the commission can determine that the property is surplus to the port's need and will not be used for public purposes and should be returned to the donors. They're the ones that made the donation contingent on the property being used for public purposes, and we haven't met those conditions with the documentation that we have. And so I've made a quick claim deed, and I would need you guys to authorize it in order for me to sign it and give the property back to the Dahlbecks. So if you guys want to discuss that.
David, I have a question. We need to declare the property surplus.
We could, with the motion, you could just, we probably should.
Without public notice?
Yeah, we probably should just, but there were conditions to this donation.
I know, I just trying to make sure that we're
That we
going down
haven't
the,
met, but you can make a motion to declare it public surplus and to deed it back to the Dahlbecks.
in the same motion.
Yeah.
And that's according to the attorney.
Mhm.
In my heart, I feel that's what needs, we're,
Well, it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this is,
Craig,
I think I would make a motion that we declare it surplus and sign the quitclaim deed and transfer the property back to the Dahlbecks. I think it's the right thing to do.
I'll second that motion.
motion made and seconded. Any questions before we vote? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
And I just would like to mention, I appreciate Dave working on that. Sometimes those things can get sticky, and Dave brought, the Dahlbecks came to a meeting, and then Court Manager Huntington ran with it and got it done, and so I appreciate you doing that.
They're local people and
Yeah,
they tried to do us a good deed, and I'm glad we could
Yeah.
act. Well put, thank you. David?
that's all I have with that, so you guys are just allowing me to sign the quitclaim deed. so-
That's the motion.
Yeah.
So, good job. I guess next would be Craig Brandt.
Okay, what we've got here is ODF&W. Have been in contact with them, I think, since January 14th. It started last November. And they do have a cormorant hazing program for the ports. And what this letter states in here, if you read it and everything, we were supposed to have an intergovernment agreement with them where the port would take care of all that stuff and it wouldn't be a private individual. And this ODF&W will pay the port. It says in there 180 hours, whatever, but we don't have all that together. But it is 100% refundable. What we don't use, they use other places. So all we want to do is make a motion to have Dave, when we get the contract, to look and see if the contract's any good, and then we go from there. What it'll end up being, because the port, it's only for a 2-month contract. Middle of March to April, just for hazing the cormorants, when the smolts come down the river.
So the contract would be with ODF&W?
It would
Intergovernmental
be an
agreement.
intergovernmental agreement between the Port of Siuslaw and ODF&W.
Okay.
And we thought we would have something, we were planning on having something to bring to the meeting, but we don't have an intergovernmental agreement even ready with them yet, so.
See, and the port will not have to hire anybody. I mean, they can set it out as a subcontract or whatever, after that's done.
Dave, are we looking for action tonight on this, or is this,
Just
this is a heads up?
Just a heads up to allow us to go further with this and at least get the conversation going with ODF&W to get an intergovernmental.
Because I would be happy to move that we authorize you to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with,
For the cormorant hazing.
if you wanted that tonight. Go ahead, Terry.
I'm a little confused because it's only allowed upriver of the bridge.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's all they'll let you do.
That's not a misprint.
That is not a misprint. I've been talking to this guy for 6 months, and they didn't even want to let us have one. See, we did this in probably 2009, the STEP group, probably 11, and we went all the way down the river and everything. We had pyrotechnics and everything, and everybody got upset because we were shooting fireworks in the air and everything. So what the deal is across from Cushman right there is where it used to be a colony there. But the thing about it is the egrets are in there too. So they don't want to upset the egrets. If you've ever been up there, there's this many egrets in the trees as there is cormorants. So they decided we'd just go from there up river.
what?
Well, with-
What is hazing? Define hazing, what's that?
All it is, you read the whole thing, all it is, they will teach us how to do it, and I will be the one that taught, just take your boat and just run them off the
Chase them
smolts
around.
when they come down. Have you ever seen them when they come down, when the smolts come down?
Oh, they're just,
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that's all you're doing. And it says from there, but say I'm the one that's doing this, and I start at 7 o'clock in the morning, tide changes or whatever, and if I see them out here, all I gotta do is just drive a boat to them and get them off of the smolts. But by all rights, we can go up there and go from there on up to Tidewater and chase them off to pilings or whatever.
Well, are those trees, they generally move on when the trees are,
I think that colony is probably gone right now.
is it?
They're just gonna chase them off of the water.
Off the
from
water.
what I understand.
Right, off the water.
Where they're feeding
That's all
the
we're doing.
smoke.
Yeah,
I had bigger pictures of chasing them off the trees too.
yeah, well, it's, you need to talk to them a whole bunch. I mean, but the thing about it is, it's not costing the port anything.
So, help me understand what we have here, Craig. This is a letter they're offering to, I'm confused what you're asking us for.
Well, when we get to intergovernment agreement, just let Dave read it and everything, so we don't have a special session to look at the contract. We have a contract, reported in Halem, I didn't bring one, but I mean, it's the same thing, it's just an intergovernmental agreement.
IGA agreement,
Right,
I understand that.
right,
Between the Port of Siuslaw and the
Yeah.
Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife.
right,
But,
and it's yearly.
okay. But at a subsequent meeting, you're gonna bring in the exact language, or can we?
Well, it'll have to be, I mean, if you wait until next month again, I mean, it's all over, cause it starts March
Well,
26th to
then,
May
then
31st.
why don't we,
Oh, that's fine.
let's,
Yeah.
I'll,
I mean, and if Dave doesn't like what it says in there, we don't do it. I
Yeah.
mean, the thing about it is
yeah,
this money is appropriated to the ports, and if it's not used, they don't get it.
okay.
And what
Well,
we don't use
then I
on
think we
this,
need a motion tonight to authorize Dave Huntington to enter into an intergovernmental agreement, and then we can do a subsequent motion that that this commission agrees with the proposal by Oregon Department of Fish and Game relative to this, in other words, the body of this letter. And if we do it in those two parts, so I would move tonight that we authorize Dave Huntington to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Department of Fish and Game regarding the hazing of cormorants.
right.
Can I ask one question?
Ask as many as you need, because I'm still a little confused.
So, who's gonna, are we gonna hire people to do the hazing?
The step group.
The step group, what it can be, if you guys don't, if the port doesn't do this, I will pursue it on myself as a personal person. You can do it either or. It's just all insurance is the whole deal.
That's exactly where I'm.
The whole
coming from.
insurance is all it is.
That's exactly where my mind is
Right.
going. If are we doing it? Are we hiring people to do it? Or
And
if
lo-
we're
and
hiring
most-
people,
most
are
of
we
the
subbing
ports-
it out and getting certificates of insurance?
Most of the ports are subbing it out and getting certificate of
Okay.
insurance.
That's
Because
where
that way
my
you don't
mind
have to
was.
hire somebody for 2 months.
Yeah, because
And you're willing to do it?
I'm willing to do it.
And give us a certificate of insurance.
Yeah, I'll get all that. Well, I mean, to start with, and then, I mean, you gotta start someplace. If not, we're not gonna have anything.
No,
I mean, it's just
no.
part of
I
sustainability.
agree. I agree.
I mean, that's, I mean, we can argue all day long about this, I wish we had hatcheries.
You can't argue with science.
Yeah, yeah.
So what, we had a motion, did we have a second?
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Okay.
Motion made, motion seconded,
Commissioner
all those in
Myers.
favor?
Aye.
It passes.
Now, I would like to make a subsequent motion that that we approve the presentation, the letter of agreement between Oregon Department of Fish and Game and Siuslaw as presented to us by James Lowen on Tuesday, January 14th, 2020, 9:38 a.m. I think that's specific enough. So the form of the motion is to approve the proposed agreement as presented by James Lawson regarding the hazing of the cormorants. That's the form of the motion.
I would second that.
I'm gonna ask for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
It passes.
And see, the whole thing about it is, I mean, they only let you can't run past May 31st, and most all the smolts are out of here by the middle of May.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Is there an application to apply to do that?
No, it's just, I heard through word of mouth that they were doing it, so I just started calling people. To do what, the hazing?
Yeah, I mean, you can pay
Well-
somebody,
Well, yeah,
right?
well, we're gonna have to get the,
paid to do it.
pardon me?
Somebody's gonna get paid to do it.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna get paid to do it, but we're gonna have to, at least somebody's gotta go, we gotta get the contract first. Yeah.
I think Jeff's point is if you do take on the contract, will you hire people or?
Well, it only takes one boat. So, and he said you can have 2 people in a boat or 1 person in a boat. All depends on how many hours that they give us. In this letter, they say 180 hours. If you have 2 in there for 5 hours a day or whatever, I mean, you eat up your time. So he said it's usually just, you just start looking at it, you know. There's only 1 boat. Or if you have 2 boats, I mean, you're gonna have to have certificate insurance. I mean, it's gonna have to be $1 million liability, you know, whatever the port wants, so.
So basically, whoever owns the boat is probably gonna want, is going to get paid. And I'm just-
Well, yeah, it's gonna get paid. I mean, you're gonna get paid right there, 18.34 an hour plus,
Cost for fuel and expenses
yeah,
compensated up to
$1,200.
$1,200.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. Moving on, manager and commissioner reports. David, do you have anything?
Well, I got a call from our Realtor, Andy Johnson, and he's asked for an extension on our listing with the 40 acres. It expires at the end of this month, and so I don't know if this is something that we want to put back out there as an RFP to look at other realtors, or you guys just by a motion allow me to enter into another agreement with Andy. You guys want to discuss this?
Let me tell you where we are on the 40 acres. David got down with the crud here a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We were gonna try to meet with Mike Miller at Public Works. One of the things that we may be facing, and this is a downer with respect to that last presentation I made, the way the property is configured, the property is downhill from an existing sump pump, sewer sump pump, and probably downhill from a stormwater drain, which means that, and again, the same rules apply. We don't have to do a thing till we sell something, but my initial optimistic discussion of how much it would cost us to put in that 100 feet or 200 feet didn't anticipate how expensive it may be to put in an additional sewage lift station and stormwater lift station, which probably could be considerable. But I want to make sure by a meeting with Mike Miller that I'm assessing the property correctly, that the existing sewer lift station and stormwater lift station ends right at our property's entry. And but I want to make sure that there isn't something that was a line that was laid in there, that maybe there's a sewer drain and a stormwater drain that goes out to almost to the ocean. I don't think so.
It'd have to come down to Kingwood, and I don't think it does. I think there's a lift station right there. in the corner.
There's a lift station right by our property. So that's kind of a negative, so,
Well,
but.
we have access to rhododendron.
Yeah.
And there should be utility.
Yeah, you would think so. But the bottom line is, we need to meet with Mike, and I wanted to give you a heads up on that. In terms of this, I think it's still a reasonable enough proposition that I would like to hold off enlisting an agent of record until we get more of a clarification and we can decide In other words, we have a clear view of all of the figures, and then we'll know where we are. Then we can make a rational decision in terms of,
Okay,
When does our listing expire?
the end of this month.
But I've also heard that somebody's really interested in it right now.
Yeah.
Really interested.
yeah, they should be.
To
Yeah,
buy it the way it is, so.
yeah. Well, they probably have heard the same discussion we had here. I mean, I think it's an opportunity, but,
We've all been
we
trying to sell it.
yeah.
Sell it and be
Yeah,
done with it.
but I think that we've opened some eyes. But, so bottom line, Commission, Dave and I have not had a chance to follow up, and we're gonna try to follow up for the next commission meeting.
I personally agree. I think we need to draw back, decide what we want to do with the property,
Okay.
whether we're gonna do a multi-development or
Sell it.
sell it, you know.
Yeah. So
Our
I-
realtor hasn't brought us a lead yet, to my knowledge. So
I don't think it would hurt us to wait.
No.
It hasn't helped us to not.
I don't think it's the realtor, I don't think any realtor we've had has brought us a lead.
Yeah, and that's not, and trust me, I don't
Yeah.
mean to put any blame on them, it's just,
No.
we need to decide what we wanna do with the property. Bill's onto something. Craig, you agree with that?
Well, yeah, but I think if somebody will make another offer on it and sell the darn thing, I mean, we're not, I don't think you guys wanna be involved in development myself.
No.
I've been there all my life, and it's a pain in the butt. I mean, you can put it on paper, make it look real pretty, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If you have a chance to sell it, I mean, we got old growth Scotch broom out there, this stuff stocks this
Hey,
fish.
we're on TV and we're trying to sell the property. They can find that stuff out when they read the Siuslaw News.
Craig, take him under the table there.
Well, I mean, all you gotta do is drive out there.
Yeah, you're right.
You drive a lot of that property out there.
Oh, no, I know that, I mean, it's a sad thing.
At least Scotch broom's green and yellow, the same colors as Oregon.
Right, and Gorse is the same way.
I guess, David, I think our opinion is, we're gonna let the listing expire
Okay.
and review our options probably at the next meeting, when you get, you and Bill can get back together.
That's what I would support.
Everybody in agreement?
agree.
Okay, good.
Has everybody read that latest letter to the editor?
What's truth and fiction? See, some of these sales transpired before I was ever on the commission, so I
No sales.
Well, it's saying that the Port of Siuslaw sold off the most beautiful, historical, significant piece of property bordering the North Fork and the Siuslaw River.
So what properties are you talking
They're
about?
talking the Wilbur property, which the port has never owned.
Okay, so point one, that's not factual, okay, good.
And they're talking about the port board member who bought the property has posted a closed sign at the entrance cutting off access to Clammers. The port has never sold any property to a board member.
Okay, that's point two.
And the guy's never closed off the clamors, cause it's me.
No, and the property at the east end of the port, we've never owned that either.
No, that
I mean,
was-
that's actually private
Yeah,
property.
well, we had to deal
the
with
owner-
that, yeah.
The
That's
owner
owned by the-
doesn't want people accessing that property because of the problems that he's had with transients.
Okay,
Um,
and that was the guy we were debating with on the survey, right?
Yeah.
Saxon,
Bob Saxon,
Don
okay.
Saxon.
it's, what the upsetting part about it is that, you know, this totally fictional stuff is allowed to be printed without anybody, you know, getting to the bottom of some of these
Well, we need
facts,
to,
which is,
yeah, we need to correct these. This is, these are just lies and misrepresentations, and it reflects poorly on
the
our
port has
business
not,
here.
has not abandoned the local fishing fleet. We don't have a bar that's even passable.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to come here and fish out of the Port of Siuslaw because they can't crap out of here. The bar's impassable
Can't
during the
get out.
winter time. Nobody will come here. It's not like we haven't tried to get, boats back in here. They will not come.
Okay.
They won't. I mean,
Last
Terry,
point.
You've been here.
Oh, yeah,
You
no,
what
I
it's
know.
like.
You don't come here till May, and you leave before September.
Well, these claims and accusations need to be refuted in some
Well,
manner.
and then it's saying that the port now charges it a fee to park and view the river. It has cut off all access to the North Fork estuary. The port, as long as any of us have ever been here, has always charged a fee in this
Yeah.
parking lot here.
And like David, you
The Harbor
stated
Street
earlier-
parking lot has always charged a fee. The Noble Street parking lot, we've got, well over 200 parking spots that we've never charged to park over there.
Yeah,
Anymore, I don't know where you can go, any state park. You can't even go to the beach without paying a
No,
fee.
like,
And we're
yeah.
charging $2. They're lucky we're only charging $2. I mean,
Plus, we're providing free over there.
yeah.
You know, there's
You know,
what, 200 spaces, free parking.
And another
I don't know
thing,
where people get some of this.
well,
Another thing
the
we probably don't
the
understand.
disappointing part of this, sorry, Craig, go ahead and finish it.
I said, the thing about it is, and it is disappointing, is people think that we own on the east
Yeah.
end of that RV park that's where we own it, and it's Saxton that owns the rest of it. So we can't legally let anybody go down through there. I mean, they're trespassing if they do that.
The part that's
'Cause
disappointing.
that used to be the place, I used to go down there and clam for all those, and then they put a sign up,
Is that these points, Ned at the newspaper should have picked up the phone and clarified each of these points. Because what is it, the old expression, a lie makes its way around the world before the truth
People are gonna
gets.
believe this.
Oh, absolutely. So so we need to, I'm gonna have a discussion with Ned, but we need a point by point rebuttal of this.
I intend to rebut the portion, obviously, where he named me.
Yeah,
Well, he said a commissioner.
yeah.
Well, it's not hard to figure out the commissioner that owns the property.
Oh, no, I understand that.
I'd like to go on record and remind everybody that I'm the one that was in full support of the port buying that property. I offered to give them the money for the down payment of that property. When the port decided not to buy it, I bought the property. And we bought it, decided not to buy it because the manager come back with a recommendation and the soil study. He said, we can't subject our taxpayers to this liability. Okay, that's fine. I don't know, it's upsetting. I've never ever shut off the clamming. I have no idea what he's talking about. I put up with I've donated gallons of water to kids to wash their feet. I own all the way to the Saginaw River Bridge. I own 50 acres of clam flats. I've never ever stopped anybody other than accessing through my driveway, and there's a safety concern there. You come into my yard, I got trucks and equipment. It's just upsetting. Ned Hickson didn't have the common decency to say, hey, you're being named in a letter here. Could you at least tell me what the facts are? Instead, they print stuff like this.
Do you want to have a meeting with him? We've done it before, shall we do it? You want?
Yeah, my attorney might be better suited.
No, yeah,
Um,
yeah, I'll tell you what, this is libelous, absolutely
well,
libelous.
It's horrible that I could see, all you gotta do is make a phone call.
Yeah,
You know? And for someone to accuse me of stopping the clamming, I'm the one that went after Leskin so we could allow Dave Beck to walk down to the beach.
that all needs to be revealed,
You
that
know?
all needs to,
I've done nothing but champion the sports person in this
Yeah.
port. Anyway, I'm done.
Well-
Sorry. I need to get it off my chest. Anything else?
Okay, I don't know did you guys read this letter from,
Rope. If there's anything that, with the possibility of any type of litigation.
Yeah, we shouldn't discuss.
It's only to be discussed in executive session.
Yeah.
So, before we can.
okay, good.
but I didn't get, I didn't get that email, so I want
Yeah.
somebody to forward it to me.
Anything with any possibility.
Oh, I agree.
Is
I
only
don't want to
to
discuss it
in
tonight, but I want
executive
to,
session.
I'd like.
Was that an email to us?
Yeah.
Everybody.
It
Well,
wasn't, but it was published in the paper as well?
no.
Can we go back to this for a minute? So, what is the port's position with regards to responding to this?
We have the right of free speech, we can do anything we want, we can,
I know, I'm just wondering, I mean,
oh, I think it needs to be responded point by point.
I do too, and I wonder, if we need to like instruct someone to maybe do that, or figure out how we're gonna do that, or,
Well,
I don't know that process.
I'll tell you the way I'd like to do it, but I don't know if it, and we've done it before. I would like to schedule a meeting with Ned and see if, and at that meeting, people that know the background on all these, because I don't necessarily know the background on all of these.
I do.
And actually request that he do an article, an on-spot article, point by point, that, and see if he can do it. A lot of the articles are front page, above the fold, and let him compose it, but we address it point by point, and he takes the notes on
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the city park he's talking about. We're the ones that sold that to the city at a fair value because they had the dream of building a park.
See, you know all this, so we need to, I know Ned well enough. I think, I'm disappointed that this showed up, but I think we can get full exposure on all these points, and not only refute the points, but make some positive points along the line of what Terry's talking about.
When did this come out?
Today?
Today.
Today, paper, the local news.
Now,
And I just read it
And
half
I
hour
think the
before
sooner we
meeting.
do it, the
Yeah.
better off.
yeah, absolutely, I'll make the call tomorrow, but I need Terry and Dave to be with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the history like these guys do.
And I don't
But
either.
I'm not comfortable just going, well, that's too bad, and it upsets some people, and we move on.
But-
I think we need to address it.
Yeah.
I guess that's my point.
And I agree with you totally. And now, here's the irony here. I brought something here tonight that I was gonna present to Dave, and that's the letter to the editor the other night. Dave, I want you to put this on your desk, and then when things feel like crap, I want you to remember this, because I started serving on public boards in 1981. And this is one of the nicest letters complimenting a manager or a superintendent or whatever, and I want you to remember this. It's unfortunate, we talked this evening, you called me, I had no idea this other crap was gonna appear today. But
That was
this-
last Wednesday's, and now
So-
this is this Wednesday.
So anyway, Dave,
That was clear.
The letter today is rebutting what,
Right, I think that's what it's all
but
about.
it needed to be framed, Dave, and so I went down and got you a frame for it. And
I just dropped off the paper to him, and said, read this.
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
All right.
awesome. Good job, Dave.
It's for the whole group.
Part of the whole group.
Yeah.
That's from the whole group,
And
yes.
everybody was pretty proud
We're
of
we're
that.
proud of that letter. Yeah, that's for everybody.
Yep.
Okay, now put this one on the top of it. Put it right next to it and say, oh.
But I thought it was, I had no idea this was coming out. I went down
I just read it today, well, it came out in today's paper.
Yeah.
I read it an hour before the meeting.
I did too, my wife said, you better read this before you go to that.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'd like to go down,
yeah, let's do it.
get the time and let
Yeah, we'll set it up, and we'll do it just as soon as possible. And thanks for the tuna contribution. I'll be a
Don't say
hero.
that.
Oh,
Well, it says that Sayulsa News is biased on the letters it publishes, so.
anything else?
No.
I have one question. What's going on? How are we doing dredging?
I'd say we're a little better than halfway done. It's taken longer than what we thought. We've got an extension in place till the 31st of March.
your funds gonna hold out there?
Yeah, funds look like they're definitely gonna hold out.
Good.
They're working with a small crew,
Okay, and that helps us, yeah.
but
How many hours is a dredging day?
about 6.5 hours a day.
It's maintenance and clean the lines and.
They usually generally get here about 8:30. They start dredging about an hour after that, and then quit dredging about 3:30, and then break shut down. So we
In
get
2 weeks,
six,
just trying to
six
get-
and a half
yeah.
hours.
Good. So we can get the boats in the water, been 2 weeks sitting in there
Yeah,
now.
hopefully by the end of this week, we'll be moved out of the boat launch area.
That's why they're launching upriver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wondered, why is everybody up here?
And
That's
everything
why.
hosed. Yeah.
Well, they can't get across the hose.
Yeah. Well, I see them launching up there, and I thought, well, that's strange.
And everybody's been, pretty good about it. It's, we haven't dredged in over 10 years, and there's not really anything we can do about it. It's just gotta be shut down for a little while.
How's our dredge spoil site holding up?
It's holding up really well, really well.
Everything working?
Yep.
Good.
I've got a good picture of Dave, we kinda composed, we were back there, I got a picture of him overlooking that big old
It's
pond.
big.
Yeah,
The spoils piece of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
See Craig, and then we talked about the dredge spoil sites, if that gets, then we gotta truck it, and probably Nordall's property, the dredge spoil site would be the closest one.
And it's hard to truck when it's wet like that. You're gonna have to.
No.
Yeah, you have to dredge it and then.
After this event, more than likely, we're gonna be at capacity on this dredge spoil site, so
And then we will have to look at
we
trucking.
will.
Well, that one's been over 10 years.
Yeah, there's still a maximum that they allow in each site, and I think this one's like 40,000 cubic yards is the maximum allowed to put on this site, so.
How many yards are you going, 26,000, didn't it?
The capacity was 19,000 more cubic yards on this site from where we started.
And still draining clean?
Mhm.
Good. That's excellent.
Anything else? Meeting closed. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Derek. Good job.